Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. This is Joe Nicasi. I'm a business mentor, and topic of the day is if you don't know where money comes from, you're not going to have much money. And this may sound really obvious, but I did a little survey. I did a little fill in the blank question on some of my social media channels, and I wrote money comes from blank. And it was pretty amazing the number of wacky responses I got and the misconceptions people have about where does money come from. So, some people said money comes from trees or cotton or from hemp. Well, it's true that physical money is fabricated from these things, and you can sell trees, you can sell wood pulp, you can sell hemp, and in some places, hemp is selling for a good price. But you know, the purpose of a business is to create a customer or a client. And, Dr. Peter Drucker, I'm not making this up. He says, because the purpose of a business is to create a customer, the business has two and only two functions: marketing and innovation. Marketing and innovation produces results like cash results. Everything else is an expense. I want to go through some of these answers about, where you think money comes from. Money comes from trees, cotton, hemp. Problem is you can't print your own money. In the old days we called that counterfeiting. So if you take paper and you print your own money, that's against the law, and it's not really creating real value. It's not creating real customers. Okay, today we do it with crypto. It's like, oh, money comes from, I set up a computer and I print my own digital currency, and therefore I'm producing money. But that's not really a value exchange. Okay, so let's start with this Peter Drucker quote. Because the purpose of a business is to create a customer, a business has two and only two functions: marketing and innovation. And I learned something from Marshall Silver. He said, everything you want in life, including money, is controlled by another human being. So there is this law of exchange. Um, and, one of the ideas that I came up with is that, everyone is self employed. Everyone is self employed. If you have your own business and you have 100 customers and you lose a customers, if you lose a customer, you're self employed with 99 customers. Now, if you have a job, you are self employed with one customer and they call all the shots. And even if you're unemployed, you are self employed with no customers. So we're all self employed. So another idea is that money comes from a printing press. Okay. Well, technically it does, but there's an abundance of money circulating around in the economy. But if you, even though there's an abundance in circulation, the question is why aren't you getting more? Why aren't you getting more? And it's because if you want to receive a lot, you got to give a lot. Okay, there's this idea of giving and receiving, and if you can give a lot of value, the truth is the reason people pay me a lot of money is because I give a lot of value. I show up as a massive contribution to the clients I serve. If you have a job and you show up as a massive contribution to your employer, they'll probably pay you very well. So another idea is that money comes from energy. Well, it's important to have the energy. So when you show up as that massive contribution, it's nice that you have the energy as the massive contribution, but unless there's a customer or client involved, the money won't show up for you. So, another idea is other people's bank accounts. Money comes from other people's bank accounts. This is something that, money comes from fill in the blank. Some people wrote other people's bank accounts. And the truth is people are just not automatically going to send you money. They're going to send you money if you add value to them. So, if I want the milk, I pay for the milk. I want to receive the milk. If I want the money, then there's this exchange. And there's this poem from Napoleon Hill. I read it in Napoleon Hill. I think somebody else might have written it, but it goes like, I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged in the evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is a just employer. She gives you what you ask, but once you have set the wages, then you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn dismayed that any wage I would have asked of life, life would have willingly paid. So let's talk a little bit more of some of these money some people said money comes from ideas. Think and grow rich, okay? But the truth is if you think and you have all these great ideas, but if you don't have a customer, if you don't have a client, you're not going to make much money. Some people said money comes from hard work. And if that was true, I have a friend, somebody I just met. They're from Africa. They work really, really hard, and they make $7 a day. Well, hard work is not. You need to have hard work, and you need to connect it to a customer or a client. Okay, if you don't connect your value to someone else, you're not going to make much money. Skills that pay the bills. It's important that you have skills. Yes, skills will help you make money if you have a client that's willing to say, I will pay you to use your skills in exchange for the money. If you don't have the client, you won't make much money. Frequently I ask people, what's the purpose of a business? And so many people say, to make money, but you won't make much money if you don't have any customers. Matter of fact, you won't have a business. If you don't have customers, you don't have a business at all. Um, Someone else said making the right decisions. Well, hopefully making the right decisions that will make you clients. Some people said from the bank. Money comes from the bank, or money comes from investors. Now the thing is when you earn money, profits from sales from a customer, you don't have to pay anybody back. But um, if you borrow money from a lender, you have to pay it back. So it's not free money. It's money doesn't come from investors, because if you borrow money from investors and the investors don't get paid back, it destroys your credit. It destroys your credibility. So even if you do get money from investors, investors want to get paid back, and if you don't, your reputation, your integrity, and all that can go down the drain. And there's a scripture that says that the borrower is always the servant to the lender. And so if you borrow money, that doesn't mean that the money comes from lenders. That's temporary, because that money does need to be paid back. Someone said money comes from generosity. Now, while it's true that some people might gift you money, um, that's not always consistent. Money comes, you know, sometimes in life we do get gifted money, and thank God, thank Jesus that happens. But for the most part, if you want to make money consistently, you need to do it in a business and have customers or clients. Some people think that money comes from charity. Well, there's only, when the charity's there, it's great. When the charity dries up, it's not so good. Some people say money comes from government. Recently we had this pandemic, and there was unemployment relief for people, pandemic relief for people. Well, that dried up. Okay, so government programs aren't always going to provide you money. Money comes from family or spouse. Well, that might be true until your family either runs out of money or cuts you off, or those kinds of things. So ultimately, at the end of the day, money comes from clients, money comes from customers. And the only reason a customer will give you money is because you give them value. Okay. In other words, one of the common threads in our spending is we tend to spend money on things that make our life better. Why do you get your brakes fixed on your car? Because life is better to have brakes that work on your car. Why do you go to the night? Why do you spend money at the nice restaurant? Because life is better to eat at a nice restaurant once in a while. Why do you spend money on your housing? Because you know what? Life is better to have a roof over your head than to be homeless. So, um, if you're trying to figure this stuff out, I've got a program called Business Wisdom Quest to help you figure out what's the right business for you. But look, we all want to prosper more. We all want to receive the money, but receiving and giving are connected. If you want to receive a lot, you need to give a lot. And you can't, if you expect to receive without giving, you're going to be disappointed. Okay. So everything you want in life is controlled by someone else. The purpose of a business is to create a customer. And in order to do that, you need to market and innovate and give value to those customers. And so money comes from customers because we give them value and we offer something that makes their life better. So if you don't know where money comes from, you're not going to make much money. Um, Someone else wrote, money comes from sixth grade teachers. I don't know about that. I never had sixth grade teachers give me money. Money comes from problem solving. That's true as long as there's a customer willing to pay to have those problems solved. We live in a world of problems. This is good news for business people. We live in a world of problems, but we need to sort problems. There's two kind of problems: the ones people will pay to solve, and the ones they won't pay to solve. There's a lot of, you know, hey, there's a problem. The Titanic's at the bottom of the ocean. Okay, somebody can solve that problem, but is there somebody willing to? Is there a customer willing to pay for that? For most people, they would say it's not worth it to bring the Titanic up from the bottom of the ocean and make it sail again. Too much. Some people said money comes from mindset. But you can have the best mindset in the world, but if you don't have that mindset applied to a customer or a client who's going to pay you to use that mindset, you're not going to make much money. So money doesn't come from trees, money doesn't come from energy, money doesn't come from printers. Well, the physical money does, but it's not going to necessarily end in your bank account. If you go out and try and print it, they're going to arrest you for making money. There are people that are printing crypto money, okay, but if you're not exchanging value, some people think that money comes from crypto. Well, only as long as crypto is rising. We just watched crypto go from 69 and drop down to 35. It literally, its value dropped in half. So money doesn't necessarily come from crypto either. So, but if I give you a ton of value and I make your life better and you go, wow, I want that, I'll pay you for that. That's how money works. And so, if you understand the rules of money, if you understand the rules of business, then you can make a good living. But if you don't know where money comes from, and then, if you think that money just comes from working on a 9 to 5 job, you're going to be really limited because somebody else is going to set the rules. So money can come from an employer. An employer is a client. An employer is a customer, but they set all the rules. They determine how much you pay. And so uh, one of the challenges I have with going out and getting traditional employment is the moment you say, I will be your employee, you give a lot of your power away. So I just wanted to really clarify that if you want to make money, it comes from clients. And there's 4 rules. How does the $1 million consultant make $1 million? Number one, you got to have two ethical people. You need to give a lot of value, and the client needs to pay you that money. Number two is the perceived value of the buyer. If they perceive you as worth a lot, they'll pay you a lot. But if they don't perceive your value, they're not going to, if they perceive you as worth $1 million, they will pay you $1 million. But if they only perceive you as worth $100, they're not going to pay you 101. Okay, so there's a responsibility. It's not good enough to the best way to have real value, the perceived value, is to have real value. But just because you have a lot of real value doesn't mean that people perceive it. So you have an extra obligation to have the real value and then also make sure that the buyer perceives it. The third thing that really determines whether you make that $1 million as a consultant or not is your own self-esteem. You got to have the self-esteem to charge what you are worth. If I help you make 10 million in profit, and I charge you 1,000 an hour, I work with you for 10 hours, I make 10,000, you make 10 million. Somebody, that's actually not really fair. But you have to have the self-esteem to charge what you're worth. And then the fourth piece is, if you want to make a million, you don't get paid what you're worth, you get paid what you negotiate. And so you need to negotiate it properly up front. Okay. So I want to just wrap this up and just encourage you that if money comes from clients, and money comes from clients, and the best way to get clients is in your own business. And if you don't know what business to go into, I've got a program coming up in March called Business Wisdom Quest. It's an 8-week program to help you figure out what's the right business for you. And if you want help with that, I just want to invite you to join us. It's my most affordable program ever. If you want details about that, just write Quest in the comments, and I'd be happy to get you details on that program. Anyway, if again, the purpose of a business is to create a customer. The easiest way to make $10,000 is help somebody solve their $100,000 problem. A client, a customer. All right. If you want help, this is what I do all day long. I'm a business mentor. I help people start businesses and grow businesses so you can get more customers to pay you more money more often. But don't think that money comes from trees. Don't think that money comes from hard work. Hard work is definitely an important piece. You want to take your hard work and apply it towards a generous and grateful client. I made up coffee mugs for my customers, and it says, I will solve your problems and you will pay me gratefully and generously. If I solve your problems and you're not grateful, if I can solve your problems and you're not generous, I don't have to solve your problems. Okay. And the same thing should apply to you. I want you to prosper. God wants you to prosper. When good people make good money, you can do more good things. And I want you to make more money. If you're a good person, I want you to make good money so you can do more good things. And if you're a bad person, I don't want anything to do with you. All right. I'm going to wrap this up. This is Joe Nicasia, your business coach. Where do you think money comes from? If I missed the point on something, if there's some value you want to add to this conversation, write it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. This is Joe Nicasia, your business coach. God bless you. Have an amazing day.